Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with our first review of 1,000 Pound Sisters for season 6. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button. This episode really wasn't that great to me. There were parts of it that I could have done without, like the whole haunted part situation, but let's go ahead and get into it. So we begin the episode and some of the family is heading to the farm with the kids. We find out that at this point, Amy has been staying with Tammy for 6 months and that she will soon be moving out, and it's just going to be her and the two boys in their house. Chris says that since we last saw her, Amy has gotten a lot better and her parenting is better than what we last saw. Gage is soon going to be 3 and Glenn just turned 1. Tammy, it is obvious when we see her that Tammy has lost a significant amount of weight. One thing that I could say is Tammy, once it finally clicked for her, it seems that it's kept clicking because she has been meeting goal after goal after goal, and she looks good. She has lost over 400 pounds since rehab. She enjoys the little things like sitting comfortably on a toilet and being able to take off her own shoes. It's the stuff that you don't think about. But her excess skin is getting on her nerves. She's embarrassed by it. She gets rashes under her stomach and it gets in the way of her even when she's walking. So her goal at this point is now to be approved for skin removal surgery. She's been doing well, she says, but she does miss Caleb. She carries his ashes with her. She wears them around a necklace. And there are times where she feels his presence. She says she can smell his cologne. She even sometimes will feel like her hair being brushed behind her ear without her touching it. We see Chris, who is also trying to still work on his skin removal surgery. It's been 4 months since he was last told how much weight he needed to lose. And since then, he said he's lost 20 pounds. Did he say he lost 20 pounds or he's 20 pounds away from his goal? I think he said he was 20 pounds from his goal. I don't know what's going on with Chris. I don't know if they're trying to make us feel like he's gained weight based on what happened in the episode, but I'm noticing in the confessional that he looks larger than he does on the scenes that we're seeing that were filmed previously. I don't know if this is a situation like what they've done with McKelty where they have her put on a pregnancy belly or what, but he looks bigger in confessional than he does on the show. So we find out that the entire family is now going to be seeing Dr. Smith in a few weeks, and that includes and that includes Amy. She's going to be going there as well. That way she doesn't have to make such a long trip to see Dr. Proctor. I personally am going to miss seeing Dr. Proctor on my screen because he was fine. The man is a good looking man, so I'm going to miss seeing him on our screen. We find out that Misty, who you can tell Misty lost weight. Misty has lost 80 pounds and she has no desire whatsoever to get the skin removal. She says, unlike the others, she's okay with keeping her excess skin. It's easier for her to say because she wasn't as large as them. It's different for them because even like when Tammy raised her arm like this, you can see the excess skin and stuff like that. So I would imagine that that would be a lot to carry on, especially if you've lost over 400 pounds. Tammy says that for her, the skin is making her insecure and she just wants to feel better about herself. As a first step, her and Amy are planning on giving each other makeovers. I already knew it was going to be interesting once they said they were going to do it for each other. She's going to style Amy. Amy's going to style her. So Chris said one of his main goals at being at this farm was to get Tammy on a tractor. So we see him and Tammy get on a tractor. He says that Tammy has never driven anything before. Tammy says it's because she was too large to get behind the wheel of a car or anything like that. So we see her get on the tractor with just a little bit of assistance from Chris. she has to step up and get on it, and she does well. Remember when Tammy was afraid to take steps? So to see her do that, every time I see Tammy do something that I know before she never would have done, I get excited for her. So she is on this tractor and she's zooming and she is grinning from ear to ear as she's up there. You hear her laughing, and she beats Chris on the first tractor race. Then she decides to race Brittany because Brittany has to race the champion. And as she begins to take off, she does something where she pushes too hard on the gas or something, and she loses control of the tractor. She doesn't run into anything major or anything like that. She kind of goes forward, then she backs up a little bit, and she freaks out and she starts crying. Chris is now afraid that because of that situation, she's not going to want to drive and that she's going to be afraid of driving now. And he's right. But she like, when I say she's freaking out, you would have thought that she got into a car accident. He wants Tammy to become more independent and do more things on his own. He's also tired of having to take her places, but she wants no part of it, especially after the situation with the tractor. And she kind of gets a little bit of an attitude about it in confessional. I think that she needs to be realistic and not always expect for her siblings to cater to her. They've been doing it for so long, and after some time, you do get tired. And if you're capable of learning to do it, then I think she should do it. But I also think that it should be done in her own time. I don't think that it should be something that is forced upon her, especially if she's this scared to do it. You have to allow the person to be comfortable. We then get to the scene that makes me feel really uncomfortable, which is Tammy talking about these hunted dolls that her and Amy have. And they bring the dolls together at Tammy's house in hopes of connecting to the spirit world. So Tammy has this app on her phone that's supposed to be able to detect ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. To each his own. It's really not my thing. She said that she has a lot of questions about Caleb and the situation, and she wants to talk to him and she wants to communicate with him. So they're hoping that if they combine their dolls along with this app, that he will come through the phone. So he gets on, well, they get on the phone. She tries to communicate. She starts talking to the app. So does Amy, asking, certain questions, and the app is making all these different noises, and she gets freaked out. She then says she hears Caleb say, I'm here, I'm on it. So for her, the app is verifying her feelings that was him because that's his voice. And she feels like through everything, Caleb is still guiding her. To me, I wonder if part of that app is like a CV radio or something like that. I don't know. As I said, it's not anything that I mess with. I'm not knocking it, but it's not my thing. So we get back to Amy. Amy has finally, after 6 months, decided to move back in her house, despite knowing that it's going to be hard for her. I don't understand how Amy could be out this house for so long and she didn't clean it up before she got back in there, but to each his own. Amy has always been messy, in my opinion. Amanda is there as usual to help support her sister and to help her move back in. Amy is sitting there and she's getting a little choked up talking about Michael and how she wants to clear Michael out, which means getting rid of things that remind her of him. So pictures and the couches. She wants to make sure that it's about her and her boys. And we get flashbacks of last season. And if I'm being honest, I'm disappointed in the way that they handled the entire situation because we saw how tense it got. We saw some of the things that were said. We heard her begging for her bank cards and all these other things, and they skimmed past it. They never really dove into it so that we can find out further information. There were people who were legitimately concerned that Amy had been abused in some way, whether it be financially or physically, by Michael. And the way TLC didn't really dig into it or put up a disclaimer or anything makes me feel like the ball was dropped there. I don't know if that's production. I don't know if it was the Slayton sisters, but either way, something should have happened where it was addressed more, in my opinion. She says at this point, she wants to make her home about her and her boys. And that's what she's going to do. She says she's struggling to love herself, but her hopes are that with skin removal, that will help. I'm going to be honest. I don't think skin removal will do that. I think that some things are more mental than physical. Not to say that she isn't uncomfortable in her skin, but I have a friend that did the bypass surgery, and she has lost a significant amount of weight extremely fast, to the point where at one point she was struggling. She was in and out of the hospital because she couldn't keep food down and stuff like that. She's in a much better space now, but she looks at herself now, and even though she is significantly smaller, we're talking about she's lost hundreds of pounds smaller, she still sees herself as larger. That's something that is going to require more than just skin removal. That's going to be something that you have to work on here on a daily basis. And I just feel like Amy's looking for a quick fix. She said it herself that she doesn't like therapy, but I think that that is something that she needs to tackle, because therapy will actually help. For all you know, you could have body dysmorphia. I'm not saying that's what she has, but there are things that come along with this procedure, which is part of the reason why they want to make sure that you have therapy and you go through certain steps and get approved by certain people before you even have the surgery, because this is a life thing. Like, you have to continuously work on this for the rest of your life. So we get back to Chris and Tammy. They are going to this place where they have this machine called the bod pod, where you can get in it. It looks like a spaceship, and it tells your body measurements down to a T. Chris gets in it and he finds out that he has a 35.6% body fat, but he is weighing at 297 pounds. Chris is disturbed by this because he says, last week alone, I was weighing 283 pounds. There's no way that I put on 15 pounds in a week. Meanwhile, Tammy doesn't think that the bod pod is lying. Tammy in confessional is like, okay, you put on 15 pounds in a week. What are you doing wrong? And we've seen Chris sometimes eat wrong. We've seen him with the barbecue food with all the sauces and all that other stuff. So he could very well be doing something wrong. So she gets in the machine and she sits there and she's claustrophobic and she's trying to get Chris's attention, but she can't talk or anything. She has to kind of sit still. And he's so busy trying to figure out his results that he's not even looking at her. So when she's done, she's a little dizzy, but she gets out of the machine and she's told that she weighs 308 pounds and has a 53.6% body fat. Tammy says that according to that number, she's lost over 100 pounds since she last saw the doctor, which was 9 months ago. Tammy is not playing games. 100 pounds in 9 months is a big deal. We're not going to sit here and act like it's not. And she's doing that strictly off of eating. She's not even doing like heavy endurance because there's only so much. Not saying she's not working out. I think she is doing some workouts. But there's only so much you could do when your mobility is an issue because of skin and things of that nature. So we're back at Amy's. She's doing well with just her and her boys. Tammy is doing well with having her house back to herself. Tammy was probably so excited to get the messy kids and their mama and their mama out of her house, because we saw that Tammy likes to clean and Amy doesn't. The ladies then go to get their makeovers. They start with their hair and their makeup. They're supposed to pick each other's color. We don't see what they pick for each other, but we get to see the end result. Tammy ends up getting chestnut with some highlights. It actually looks nice. The color looks way better than the red. I think with Tammy's hair being thinner, certain colors bring more attention to it. And I feel like that chestnut was a good choice. Now, I don't know if they added a little bit of pieces in there, but it just looked nicer to me. And it looked fuller and you couldn't see so much scalp with it. Amy gets a lighter blue. They're calling it aqua, with some extensions. Amy comes out and they look at each other and Amy laughs at Tammy and she tells us that she looks like an English bulldog. Amy has this way sometimes of constantly joking Tammy. She tries to make it seem like it's a joke, but there's something about it that seems a little bit mean to me. I do think that Amy always enjoys being the smaller of the two of them, and I sometimes feel like Amy makes underhanded compliments to her, but you all tell me what you think. Maybe that's just me. Tammy is excited to even be able to fit in jeans, because prior to all of this she couldn't. Amy says she feels pretty, but she doesn't like the outfit that she picked out for her. And Tammy doesn't like the outfit that Amy picked out for her. I actually think Tammy did a good job with picking out Amy's outfit. I like the outfit. To me, I don't know. Tammy, it's like, I don't know if Tammy's accustomed to wearing sports bras or if at one point she couldn't get a normal bra, but I want Tammy to put those girls, y'all see this, right? I got a lot of girls. Sorry to be crude and rude. But with that being said, I want her to put on a bra because I think if she were to put on a bra, it would help pull some of that together, because it just, the way the shirt was sitting on her and then her chest being so squished down, it just didn't look as appealing as I think it could have been. But that's just my thoughts. Y'all tell me yours. They're excited. They leave. They send out a text message with their pictures. The family has a whole reaction to it, wanting to know if she's wearing a wig, blah, blah, blah. So it's the next day. We find out that Amanda was on a swing and she messed up her knee. She tore her ACL and her meniscus. She's been hurting for the past couple days, and she doesn't like the fact that her sisters haven't shown up for her the way that she's shown up for them. I'm not sure how much they could do. Maybe Tammy could have asked for a ride to get there to come to her, but who would she have asked? But I guess maybe they haven't called in and checked on her or something like that. Amanda does do a lot for her sisters. She says she's not looking forward to the weigh-in because she is noticing that the weight is falling off of her siblings, but it's not falling off of her. And when I first saw Amanda at Amy's, I thought the same thing, but I wasn't sure because I was like, okay, maybe it's just her chest, because I have a large chest too. And I know sometimes, depending on the angle of things, I look even fatter than I am if the camera is not angled right. So I was like, okay, maybe it's the way the camera is angled, because those girls, when you got large girls, they will make you look bigger than you are. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just that her breasts are so large. Because then I was like, okay, she looks smaller there, you know, da 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 da. But then I was like, no. Then I saw her sitting on the porch with her hoodie and stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe she isn't slimming down. I'm not sure. We won't know until she gets on the scale. But she's not looking forward to the weigh-in. All of them are over at Amanda's house because they're about to drive to go see the doctor. It hasn't even been 24 hours. And Chris is like, they don't even look like they just had a makeover. They don't. Amy look rough. Amanda wants to weigh in first because she feels like she's going to have the worst results. But then it's mentioned that it might be Chris, because Chris went to the thing the other day and he didn't like what he saw on that scale. Amy says that she wants to go to this doctor because she wants to get approved for skin removal surgery. And Chris is like, if she wants to get approved for skin removal surgery, she's going to have to do a lot more than what she's doing, because she's not eating right and she's not doing this. And if she does get approved, then I'm going to be pissed off. I get it. Amy's been messed up on some things, but if she gets approved, she gets approved. Amy's been doing this a lot longer now. She didn't regress real quickly, especially after having the kids and stuff. But she's been doing that a lot longer than Chris. So who is Chris to say he's going to be pissed if she gets approved? It just sounds like everybody's in competition with everybody, and I don't like that aspect. Amy says overall, they're all trying to get skin removal surgery, and she hopes that all of them go and get approved. And that is the end of the episode. If there's a part that I missed that you'd like to discuss, feel free to leave it down below. Like the video, as it does help the channel. And I'm going to need to get back into this 1,000 Pound Sister algorithm because it's been a while. Until next time.